Recently, I've had some great discussions with one of my coaching clients, Mario, on the topic of reducing his workouts from 5 days per week down to 4 days per week. And in this video, I'm going to share some of the reservations he's had, why he's been hesitant to make that change, as well as how we arrived at the conclusion of what we both feel is going to serve him best. Mario is 57 years young. I've been coaching Mario for the past 5 years. Initially, worked with him to get shredded. He achieved that goal, looked absolutely freaking incredible. And since then, he's continued to improve upon his physique, build upon his physique. So he's an incredible role model for what's possible as a natural lifter in your 50s when you are committed and dedicated to the process. Now, I'll include some links down below in the description, some of the podcasts that I've recorded with Mario in the past there. Very insightful. I think you're going to enjoy them. And I look forward to recording future podcasts with him about this change in particular. Now, Mario has, for the past year, been experiencing some stresses, added stresses in his life. Life's been a bit more hectic. And because of that, I have reduced his training volume. I didn't want his training to add any more stress to his already stressful lifestyle. And his body has responded incredibly well to that reduction in training volume. He's still continuing to make improvements and he's experiencing less stress from the training process. But recently, I've noticed that he's been making a lot more comments about how fatigued he's been feeling, how he doesn't quite have the same amount of time as he usually does for cardio, so he's been a little bit inconsistent with it, and how he's not quite getting the same kind of enjoyment from his weight training experiences, mainly because his life is so hectic. He's like, at the end of the day or whatever he's scheduling it in there, like it's kind of like he has to fit it in there. And his day's been so hectic that he's not in the same kind of mindset as he used to be going into that gym. But his training has now become something that he feels that he has to do rather than something he wants to do. So I started dropping some hints, planting some seeds, getting him to kind of open his mind to the possibility of reducing his weight training from 5 days down to 4 days per week. And his initial reservations and hesitations, number one, which I think is a legitimate concern and hesitation and reservation to have, is that he's built these habits in place. He finds that the more he's in the gym, like being in the gym 5 days per week, just kind of embeds that habit, ingrains it into his lifestyle more so than if he's only weight training 4 days per week. He's also concerned that if he drops from 5 days per week of workouts down to 4 days per week weight training, that he's not going to burn as many calories, and he's concerned that that may lead to some fat gains there. He's also concerned that he's going to lose his muscle gains, that he won't look as vascular because the approach that we've taken to get him shredded and build his physique has been based around 5 weight training sessions per week. So it's been a formula that has worked for him. So he's concerned that if we pull that back, it's going to change everything. He's going to lose everything that we have built during the past 5 years here. So concern number one, like I said, somewhat of a legit concern to be worried about the habit base there, having this ingrained routine into your overall lifestyle. But he's mentioned that he's been a little less consistent with his cardio. So knowing that if he drops from 5 weight training sessions per week to 4 days per week, he's going to be able to work that cardio in that day there. That's going to be his new routine. It's just a matter of building a new routine. He's still going to have that structure in place. This will be a routine that he can ingrain into his lifestyle and is going to serve him best. And speaking of that cardio, that's going to take care of the calorie concern there, because he's replacing the weight training session with a cardio session, which may likely burn more calories. So he may even be better off when it comes to the calorie burn by swapping out weight training for cardio there. When it comes to the concern of losing his physique from reducing from 5 workouts per week to 4 workouts per week, there's a lot of examples I can refer to. Number one is him. We built his physique on some high volume training 5 days per week. I've reduced his training volume during the past year to accommodate for his schedule and the stress in his life. and his physique has continued to improve. He hasn't lost any vascularity. He hasn't gained any excess fat. He's looking better and better. There's also examples of other guys out there who have built incredible physiques, weight training 3 days per week, 4 days per week. So like there's so many different approaches. You don't need to be in the gym 5 days per week or 6 days per week in order to build an incredible physique. And I have built my physique. Right now I am down to 3 days per week. And I feel since reducing it from 6 days per week down to 5 days per week, 4 days per week, now 3 days per week. At 3 days per week, I feel like I'm looking my best. Like I feel like I'm able to make progress once again. But better yet, I have never felt better. Less aches and pains in my joints. The accumulated fatigue is gone. I am thriving in all aspects of life. And that I find has been the norm, the commonality among guys who reduce the number of days they're weight training from 5 down to 4 or 4 down to 3. They're all experiencing better physical, well, I shouldn't say all, many or most are experiencing better results when they reduce their amount of training volume and the number of days that they're training per week, especially guys who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. I find they're responding so much better with a reduced number of days training per week. So there's lots of examples of how he could actually, not only is he not going to lose his physique, all the gains that he's made during the past 5 years, but this could potentially improve upon his physique by making this change here. And more than anything, I think it's going to reduce his stress. He's now fitting his program even more so to his lifestyle, rather than fitting his lifestyle to his workout plan and begrudgingly trying to like butt his head against the wall. Like this is the rules that I need to follow in order to achieve my physique, even if my body is telling me I'm fatigued, I'm feeling beat down, I'm under a lot of stress right now. It's like his body is giving him every sign that he needs in order to make this change. He just needs to listen to it. And that's the importance of coaching. It's not just like, here's my rules that you need to follow. This is what works for every client. No, it's the back and forth discussion to see what's going to actually serve you best and knowing that that's going to evolve over time. Like his one concern was like, man, I followed the Scott blueprint to get me to this point. I don't want to fail you on this. I'm like, dude, like I've evolved. Like you see how I've changed my training over the years, and my training for you towards you has changed over the years. Like a reduction in training volume. It's all about you. There is no one single blueprint for a type of workout, a type of split, number of days per week that you should be training, how you should be eating, what your lifestyle should look like. If you want to experience the best results possible, like if you want to decide to help you make this decision of training less is actually going to serve you best, you need to have that heightened sense of awareness and listen to your body, the signs that it's giving you. If you're feeling that accumulated fatigue, you're achy all the time, you're tired all the time, your enthusiasm towards training is not quite what it used to be, could be a very good sign that let's cut things back a little bit, spark some enthusiasm back into your training and go from there, especially if your body starts to feel better from that reduction in volume. So those are the key factors. It requires that back and forth discussion either with a coach or in your own mind, having that heightened sense of awareness to how you're feeling and being honest with yourself, because I used to think I was recovering really well from weight training 6 days per week in the gym, 90 minutes to 2 hours. I was able to still make progress doing that. But looking back, reflecting back on it, I was experiencing a lot of accumulated fatigue. My joints were always achy. My muscles were always sore. I just thought that was par for the course. I was taking deloads from time to time at the appropriate times, going on vacation, not training during those times as well. I was being smart in that regards, but it still wasn't enough to reduce the amount of accumulated fatigue that I had in my muscles and my joints. So I thought I was doing well at the time, but it's always like when you make these changes, you realize, if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, ease off a little bit, you're going to be better off for it. So I would love to hear from you what your training volume has been like, the number of days that suit you best, If you've modified things and you've noticed any kind of a difference yourself, please take a moment to drop a comment down below. And I look forward to, again, getting Mario on here to share his experiences as he's making this week this change to drop to 4 days per week, about how his body is impacted by it, how his mind is impacted by it. Always love having him on a podcast, sharing his insights from his own personal experiences. I think it's priceless. This is all about learning and growing together. The shared experience is where it's at. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you as well.